The Huey P. Newton Gun Club in Dallas made the news recently for doing an open carry rally throughout South Dallas. This from dallasnews.com. And Huey P. Newton, for those who aren't familiar, is the Black Panther activist. I could read a little blurb about him because he got into some hot water in his day for weapons charges. The quick blurb from Wikipedia is that Huey Percy Newton was an African-American political urban activist who, along with Bobby Seale, co-founded the Black Panther Party in 1966. And, they made many strong statements regarding open carry back in the 60s, and now here they are doing it again today. Quote, 24 protesters, most of them armed, from a gun club named after the founder of the original Black Panther Party, peacefully marched through the parts of South Dallas on Wednesday. The open carry rally was organized by the Huey P. Newton Gun Club to promote self-defense and community policing in response to recent police shootings, both nationally and locally. Very important. Do you carry a gun to arm yourself? Have you ever done open carry activism? Share your story. This is Peace News Now. Welcome back to the show. This is Peace News. You can share your stories of peaceful resistance or just listen to the ones I've got. We've got plenty to fill out the show. I'm talking about a story of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club where 24 protesters, most of them armed, from a gun club named after the founder of the original Black Panther Party, peacefully marched through parts of South Dallas on Wednesday. The open carry rally was organized by the Huey P. Newton Gun Club to promote self-defense and community policing in response to recent police shootings, both nationally and locally. Police monitored the black-clad demonstrators, some of whom had rifles slung over their shoulders, as they walked down MLK Boulevard and Malcolm X Boulevard in the blistering heat, many chanting, "Black Power!" and "Justice for Michael Brown!" The black teenager fatally shot by police this month in suburban St. Louis. His death has touched off a string of often violent protests in that area. While the Dallas marchers frequently chanted Brown's name, they said their main goal was to shed light on local shootings by police. Dallas County leaders recently announced that they're looking into ways to change how they investigate shootings involving police officers. Well, that would be good. It would be great if the organization responsible for murdering someone wasn't also responsible for investigating themselves to see if there was any crime committed, because I think there's a conflict of interest there. Quote, "We think that all black people have the right to self-defense and self-determination," said Huey Freeman, a march organizer. "We believe that we can police ourselves and bring security to our own communities." Freeman said Wednesday's marchers planned to patronize several South Dallas businesses to keep their money in the community and teach their neighbors about their right to self-defense. At one point, the group stopped at Elaine's Kitchen, and one of the organizers there told those who were armed to display their weapons in a, quote, "safe, disciplined manner." Several cars driving past the area and honked and waved at the protesters. Established about 3 months ago, the Huey P. Newton Gun Club calls for an end to shootings by police of unarmed individuals, particularly blacks. It also asks people to consider carrying weapons to protect themselves, according to a news release. Quote, "We need to arm ourselves, not to attack anybody, but in self-defense," said Darren X., a representative of the new Black Panther Party. Quote, "We can't just let people come into our community, whether they're law enforcement or not, and just gun our people down, and there's no accountability." Dallas police officers appeared to follow the demonstrators in unmarked police cars. Toward the beginning of the 90-minute demonstration, a couple of police cars temporarily blocked off MLK Boulevard so the protesters could safely cross the street. Christina Smith, by the way, I always think it's really strange when there are anti-police marchers or people who are like, we can police ourselves, and then they're using the police to march down the street. It doesn't look good. I mean, like, you've failed. I'm sorry, but you've failed. When you're like, we don't need the police, and then you're using the police to do your march, like, sorry, man. Inconsistent. I'm not convinced. I mean, this is coming from a person who knows you don't need the police. So why are you using them for your demonstration? Dallas police officers appeared in their unmarked cars, blah, blah, blah. Christina Smith, acting commander of the police department's Strategic Deployment Bureau, said, quote, the low-profile police presence was not unusual. It's standard protocol for a non-uniformed officer to be present at all scheduled protests or rallies in order to protect the rights of the demonstrators as well as of other citizens. You know, so this is one I'm a little conflicted on because, like, with a group like the Black Panther Party, there might be some violence, not from them, but toward them. And the police are the only group, unfortunately, who's tasked with the responsibility of protecting everyone. Yeah, okay, I know they have no obligation to protect, right? But on paper, this is what's supposed to happen. The police are there to protect your rights. They're supposed to patrol and make sure that there's no conflicts. Yeah, I know. They're often the ones creating conflict. I know that. But they have to be there a little bit, right? I mean, what if something were to break out? What if something were to happen and the police weren't there? Everyone would say, oh, well, you know, without the police, look what happens. So, I don't know. I'm conflicted on that one. Until there's a situation like Detroit, or until the police just say, hey, we're going to operate on a voluntary basis. You can pay us. If not, we won't be your protectors. Until we get to a voluntary system, yeah, the police kind of need to be there. I'm conflicted on that. I don't want to see them there, but I guess they've got to be. Quote, I would rather them not be here, because there are many issues going on here with regards to police brutality, says Charles Goodson, a spokesperson for the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. But at the same time, if it helps the community by seeing the police here or makes people more comfortable, then that's fine. Yeah, that's an interesting... Sounds like everyone's a little bit conflicted about that. We don't want to see the police, but there they are. So it says it looks like the Huey Newton Gun Club and the police are actually cooperating. There's some solidarity there. That could be a good thing, just in case there's any conflicts in the future. They have a history together that's positive.